I was 3 hours into the night drive when the radio started talking about me, not figuratively, not in a that's relatable kind of way. It said my name. I was driving west on a 2-lane highway that cut through miles of empty farmland. No streetlights, no towns, just asphalt, cornfields, and the occasional rusted silo silhouetted against the moon. My phone had lost signal an hour earlier, and the GPS had frozen on a blue dot that refused to move. That should have been my first sign to turn around. The radio had been nothing but static for most of the drive. I kept it on anyway. Silence feels heavier at night, especially when you're alone and tired and your headlights only reach so far. Then the static cleared. A man's voice came through low, calm, almost bored. And that brings us back to Daniel Mercer, currently driving a gray Toyota westbound on County Road 117. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. That's my name. I glanced at the radio display. No station number, just a flickering dash where the frequency should have been. This isn't funny, I said aloud, feeling stupid the moment the words left my mouth. The voice continued. Daniel is tired. He left late. He should have stopped for coffee, but he wanted to make it home before sunrise. My pulse picked up. Those weren't guesses. That was exactly what had happened. I reached to turn the radio off. Before I touched the knob, the voice said, "Don't." I froze. Daniel doesn't like this part, the man said gently. But it's already started. I shut the radio off anyway. The silence rushed in, thick and ringing in my ears. I stared at the dark road ahead, half expecting something to step into my headlights. Nothing happened. I laughed shakily and told myself it was stress, fatigue, a prank station picking up a CB signal somehow. I drove on. 5 minutes later, the radio turned itself back on. Same voice. Turning it off won't help, he said. It never does. My stomach dropped. What do you want? I asked. To tell the story, the voice replied. That's all I ever do. The road curved slightly, and my headlights swept over a wooden sign on the shoulder. Welcome to Merrow County. I didn't remember passing that sign before. I've never heard of this place. I muttered. That's normal, the voice said. Most people don't. I checked my mirrors. Empty. The gas gauge hovered just above a quarter tank. I tried my phone again, no signal. Am I on some kind of broadcast? I asked. Is this live? In a way, the voice said, but not for anyone else. The radio crackled softly like a fireplace. Daniel Mercer, the man continued, 32 years old, data analyst, recently divorced. Driving home from a work conference he didn't want to attend, I felt exposed, like the car had lost its doors. How do you know that? A pause, because I've already told it, he said. The road ahead dipped into a shallow valley. Fog clung low to the ground, thin at first, then thicker, swallowing the edges of the asphalt. You're coming up on a dead stretch, the voice said. No turns for 6 miles. That's not possible, I said. There was an exit back there. Yes, he replied. There was. The fog closed in. My headlights reflected back at me, turning the world into a narrow tunnel of light and white. What happens next? I asked, quietly. You keep driving, the voice said. You always do. A shape appeared on the road ahead. I slowed instinctively. It was a car, same make as mine, same color, parked crookedly on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly through the fog. My breath caught. The driver's door was open. Oh no, I whispered. That's you, the voice said. I slammed on the brakes. The car skidded, tires screaming, then stopped inches from the parked vehicle. My heart hammered as I stared at it. The license plate was mine. What is this? I demanded. A marker, the voice said. You stopped here last time, too. I shook my head. I've never been on this road before. The radio crackled again, softer now. Daniel, the man said, almost kindly, "You've been on this road more times than you can remember." I stepped out of the car despite every instinct screaming at me to stay inside. The fog was colder outside, damp against my skin. The parked car looked abandoned, windows fogged from the inside, keys still in the ignition. I peered through the driver's window. The seat was empty, but the radio inside was on. Static hissed from it, and beneath the static, I could hear the same voice, faint, distorted, echoing. I staggered back. "Get back in your car," the voice from my radio said sharply. "That part never ends well." I didn't argue. As soon as I closed my door, the fog shifted. The parked car was gone. The road was empty again. I drove. The fog eventually thinned, then disappeared altogether. The road straightened, and the sky began to lighten at the horizon. Dawn. Relief washed over me so hard it almost hurt. The radio stayed quiet. When the sun finally crested the fields, I laughed out loud, tension spilling out of me in shaky bursts. Whatever that was, hallucination, nightmare, it was over. My phone buzzed. Signal. A notification popped up. Podcast download complete. Merrow County Episode 1. I hadn't subscribed to anything. Against my better judgment, I tapped play. The same calm voice filled the car. "Welcome back," he said. "If you're hearing this, Daniel Mercer has made it through the night." My hands started to tremble. "This series documents the final drive of Daniel Mercer," the voice continued. Recorded in real time, replayed endlessly, the audio shifted. I heard myself breathing, talking, asking questions. I heard the moment I laughed at Don. "That's not possible," I whispered. The voice paused, then said, "Daniel is about to try turning off the radio again." I lunged for the power button. The screen went black. The engine died. The dashboard lights flickered out. Darkness swallowed the car. And in the silence, from somewhere very close, I heard the man's voice, not from the speakers this time. "Let's start over," he said. Far off in the distance, an engine turned over. Hazard lights blinked.